It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I figured I might as well do one and talk about it's been a while since I've gone live and done any live broadcasts or any of that type of stuff. So I figured I'd just go live and talk about some things and that going on in my life. I mean, as you know, I started a podcast back around December, and I filmed 9 episodes, but I've taken a long hiatus since then. It's for personal and financial reasons that I'm not going to get into, but I'm planning on returning sometime soon, and I just want to touch base upon a few other cool things going on too. A lot of it's related to the podcast, some of it not so much. So it's I got some good stuff to share with you. So let's go. Alright, so we're walking into the bedroom part, and this is where I'm going to be filming the podcast, where I have been filming, but it just things look a little different. Like as you see, those curtains in the background is a good example of what I'm talking about. See, what happened is that when it came down to wanting to do this idea of starting a podcast, the idea all started when I wanted to get into starting to create content again, which is something that I started doing, then I stopped doing, I started doing, stopped doing. This time I want to stay with it, and I'm also hoping too that when I get back to filming that my video camera that I got as a Christmas gift will be compatible with the software program that I use to film my podcast, so that this way it can pan the whole room. See, the whole entire idea of why I even got these curtains to begin with is to have something cool in the background. Like when you watch, someone's live stream, someone's podcast, someone who just, sits at a desk and talks, makes videos, whatever it is. Usually they always have something in the background. They have something on their desk. They'll have something, it depends. I mean, the type of camera that I'm using to film my podcast is the one that's standard with the software program, which is very similar to a Zoom camera. And I'm not saying a Zoom camera is, I'm not saying it's anything shitty about it, but I'm just saying it's not necessarily the greatest camera, because it can't get the whole room. It'll be able to pan the whole room when I start having live guests, if that ever comes. I mean, majority of the time, when I start having guests on my show, it's probably going to come from, I'm going to send them a link and they'll be able to get on and talk and do whatever. But there might be times where I will have live guests. It's just, I got to see how well this takes off. I mean, I had the first 9 episodes, and it seems like, it did pretty well, given the fact that, I'm not like a well-known, public figure. I mean, I'm known amongst you guys, but I'm just talking about compared to other guys on the internet who've been doing this for years. Took them time to build up. It's going to take me time to build up. But part of going back to the whole hiatus thing is that one reason why I took a long hiatus too also had a lot to do with when I started filming this. When I started doing the podcast back in December, it's like literally anytime I was off from work, anytime I wasn't doing anything, all I wanted to do was film. And it's like I felt that I had to get as many shows in as possible. And sometimes some of my shows were literally only 2 days apart, which meant that there wasn't much material to talk about because not much has happened. It's like if you just filmed on Sunday, then you don't film, and you filmed again on Tuesday. Not much has really happened since then. So, when I get back to filming regularly, I'm going to be doing it on Sundays between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time. I mean, there might be some weeks where I'll switch the times up. Like if I have something going on, I might put the time earlier on a Sunday. I might put the time later, and depending on which time zone you live in, it'll be different times. Like majority of people tuning in are people that I know, and they all live in New York, which is all Eastern time, so it's 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. But, let's say if I film at I have something going on one day and I switch the time to 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., you live on the West Coast, you're watching me at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're going home drunk from the bar and you're just trying to go to sleep. You just tune in live. It's 3 o'clock in the morning where you are, but it's 6 a.m. where I am, so... yeah. Alright, so I'm going to turn the camera the other way so I can show you guys a little more in depth of these curtains. See right here is this is a little like checker pattern curtain. So this one is red and white. This one is blue and white. And then over here is just an empty spot. So I was gonna get back to filming sooner, but you see what happened was when I ordered these curtains, in width they're 58 inches long, which is only 2 inches shy from 5 feet. But I had no idea that. In fact, I actually thought that when I bought these curtains, there was a very good chance that I'd have like more than enough room. But then again, I don't know. I didn't know what these curtains necessarily looked like because I bought them from online. I bought them from Etsy, and I got a third pair coming in the mail soon. The ETA should be anywhere from June 9th through June 13th for the third pair of curtains. I mean, initially I thought that I was only going to need 2, and 2 would be enough to go across the entire diameter of the room from here all the way to here. And I did this so that this way I can separate the area that I sleep from where I film, so that you don't really necessarily see a whole bedroom in the background. And it also looks better too for when you have live guests. Not saying that nobody's allowed the bedroom part, but it's just that, I just think it looks better, and it's just, I put this thing together by, room divider that goes, that I was able to stretch almost across the entire room. I mean, if you looked at, it's not exactly like, doesn't exactly go from one end to another, but again, nothing's really perfect, so we'll leave it at that. So this is the red curtain. Let me just move this. This is the blue one. These ones are a bit tall, but as you can see, I'm gonna need to raise the bar a little with the top of the curtain, which I am able to do, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm hoping I could raise it as high as the top as I can. I mean, I highly doubt I'll be able to get it all the way up to all the way up to the top of the ceiling, but we'll try the best that we can. And I think these, are long enough, and worst comes to worst, I can always trim it if it ends up being too big. But I don't see that happening. Let's just wait until third pair comes, and and for the record, I'm not wait, even if the third pair doesn't come by within the June 9th through 13th range, that's not going to stop me from filming the next episode, because there's still plenty of other work that I want to do. I want to get back to filming this soon, because it's been a while. And here's another story too, is back in April I had wanted to get back to filming my podcast, and I attempted it one morning. But then the problem was that happened is that when I was getting it all set up, getting it ready to go, getting the live show ready, I was having issues, loading. I was having issues with the software program that I use for the podcast. I was having issues, having it compatible with Facebook. And that was a major issue with me, because that's where a lot of my viewers come from, because it's all mostly people that I know. And at this point, all my socials are all public, because when you create a professional public page, you lose the ability to be able to go private, which it's not a big deal to me. It's like, you lose that, but you gain, fans watching your podcast. I think that's a fair exchange, in my opinion. So, like right here is red, the red and white. Here is the blue and white. And over here, if you want to know what type of color I'm going to put, it's going to be black and white, because they only come in, I think, 4 or 5 different variants. So the other ones would be red and black, but I already have red curtains. Got red and white over here, blue and white over here. Might as well have black and white over here. The only thing that's gonna happen is that, you see, when it's dark and the lights are out, or depending on which angle you film or take a picture of, these blue curtains can actually look black. Like sometimes when I'm waking up in the morning, or when I have, like sometimes, depending on how I look at it, these curtains actually do look black and not blue. But as you can see in this picture, it's all blue. So what I'm going to be doing from here is that I'm going to be getting the third curtain. I'm going to have all these evenly distributed out. This one, and soon to be this one will all be evenly distributed out. And they'll be all different. Like this will probably be an entrance to one of them. Whoops. And over here. This will probably be one. I'll probably push it over a little. I can overlap, the curtains on top of here. Raise the bar up a little bit over here. So therefore, it's like almost like you made one room into two rooms, but really, well, you really didn't technically do it, but you just had like a little divider set up. And it's like when I was putting together like how am I going to do this podcast too, I googled room dividers, and that's how I found these two things, like this pull and that pull and the bar that goes across the room divider. I found that all like through Googling. I ordered the parts of it, and let me tell you, it took me quite some time to put it together. I actually kind of had to do part of it on my own and just put it together on my own. And as you can see, with the exception of missing curtain over here, this whole thing looks great in my opinion. And anyone I've shared the picture to thinks it looks great. And it's just I'm still at the point where I still need to put together the podcast studio the way I've always wanted to. Like you probably heard in episodes talking about decorations and all that other type of stuff, which yes, I am working on it. It's just I've had a lot going on in life, and stuff like that happens. So it's like I was just hoping that like all of a sudden I'd be filming all these episodes, and I'd probably be on episode maybe 20 or 30 something by now. But it's just what it is that like I just feel that because I'm still new and my audience is small, you stick to once a week, and then from that point on, if it takes off, it can be like a show that you do every day or every weekday. But we'll just see how it goes. We'll see where it takes me, and I'm hoping it can lead to where I'm at least making some money off of it. I mean, not looking to become like richly famous, but stuff. I mean, yes, could it happen? Yes, but is it necessarily something I'm looking for? No. And another thing too is about these curtains is that like, see, ever since I knew I was going to be filming a podcast in here, probably going back 9 months ago, the whole entire bedroom part of this room has all been shoved all the way back there. And it's been a little bit of a mess because it's hard to figure stuff out when you don't have the foundations set up to be able to make a room out of it. So what'll happen is once the third curtain's here, once the bar's raised up, then I can start playing around and it'll actually feel like a real room. Like, in other words, these curtains look like, honestly, going from here all the way to here, the room actually does look a little bit smaller because the table that has my TV and and a bunch of other stuff on it in the bedroom part is making the room look a little bit small. If I push it all the way back, this is actually probably about 1/4 of an entire bedroom. Like, pretty much ultimately, this is where I'm standing right now is the studio that I'm filming in. it can also be used as a hangout spot. And then behind here is the sleeping space of me, Brian Colada. So in other words, basically it's you made two different rooms, and it's like you walk into here, first thing you see is your podcast studio. You go behind the curtains and you're in the bedroom part, and I'm honestly looking forward to this. It's just sort of like, it's a bit of a waiting game, but I'm thinking that I'm probably gonna definitely film the next episode of my podcast prior to the third curtain arriving, unless it arrives, extra early, which usually, like when I order stuff online within the ETA, it doesn't usually come any earlier than the ETA, but a lot of times it usually comes within that period. So anywhere from the 9th through 13th, I could expect it to come in. But as to why I want to get back to filming sooner is I don't want to let like a pair of curtains not arriving necessarily get in the way, because I haven't tested out my new camera yet. I just, honestly, I've just been so busy with life that it's just been hard for me to like have time to do all this type of stuff, because aside from working and all that other stuff, you need to have time to spend quality time with family and loved ones and all that other stuff, and you also need time to relax a little. And I just feel like I also feel like, when I started doing my podcast, is that I just put like a little too much energy into it, meaning that I felt that I had to film several times. I mean, within a 1 month time period, I literally filmed 9 episodes. I think that that's a lot for someone that's brand new, for a new podcaster. Someone who does it weekly would probably have half of that episodes in the time frame that I filmed in. So I'm gonna do one last panorama with the curtains I have so far. It's gonna look beautiful once I get the third set in, and so then got my desk right here. It's a little bit of a mess, but I'm gonna be working on fixing it. I mean, I'm not sure as to what I'm gonna be doing just yet, as to whether or not I'm gonna swap out this desk with my table that has the TV on it in the bedroom part, because I might just want to have in my bedroom part this be like a work desk, and the other thing be like where I keep all my podcast stuff, where I have my computer, where I fit, where I have like my laptop over there, where I have all the equipment, and I also have, if I'm going to be filming with a video camera, which it's in this box, but I haven't gotten around to open it yet, I'm going to need to have a tripod over there. And chances are, like, regardless of which desk that I use, I'm going to need to tilt this table so that it's on an angle, so that while you're watching it, you see a bunch of cool stuff in the background. And I want it to be a little bit more than just these curtains. So it's not like you're going to be watching me, like, or any guests I have on the show talking, and yes, you'll see these curtains in the background, but I want to see other cool stuff too. Like over here, I have these 3 tables, which are probably going to be used for some of the decorations, depending on how everything comes out. But like I said before, it's kind of hard to put together a whole room when you don't have the full dividing foundation set up. That's why the bedroom part of it is a little bit of a mess right now, because it's hard to play around with putting together the bedroom part when you don't have it. I mean, especially because I said I started doing this 9 months ago, when I knew I was going to be starting a podcast. So that means that 9 months ago, this room divider, like, the 2 sides to it, and the bar that goes across wasn't even here. I installed this in here in December, and I just knew that I'd be putting a bunch of curtains in, and and idiot me made the stupid decision of buying a bunch of curtain rings, thinking that I'd probably be patching holes in the curtains and putting it on hooks. But this fits just perfectly. You just slide them right on in. You just lift the bar up, slide it in. As you can see right here, you can even overlap them a little. Try to take a little entrance to it. So you enter the room part, you just open up the curtain basically, and yeah, and honestly, I'm just a little tired right now. I kind of wanted to do this last night, but I ended up just getting caught up, and I just ended up doing laundry and ended up getting caught up in doing that. So so as far as this desk goes, is not sure if this desk is going to be going in the room part, and the table with the TV on it is going to be used as the desk for my podcast, which I'm thinking might be the better idea, because I have some pretty sensitive and personal stuff in these drawers. Like I have stuff pretty much stuff where I keep my wallet, my keys, my checks, pretty much all that other stuff. So I'm actually thinking that I'm going to be going with the latter. I'm going to use this desk as where I sit down right here in the bedroom part will be like a desk that I could just use, where I could just, if I ever need to do any kind of work, and then put the TV on this part of it, and then swap out the TV table, put that one in here, and that one, and that this table that I'm talking about can be used as a desk. And if I need to get anything from this desk, all I gotta do is go underneath the curtains. So it's pretty convenient, and it's pretty convenient on my end. And then I could, for these tables, I could just put stuff on here that I want to decorate it. Like I've talked about some of the decorations that I want to have in this room to make it look cool. One of them is also putting a little couch in here too, because in the living room part I have I have a old wooden love seat couch that which was originally gonna be the couch for the living room part, but then my parents gave me some of their furniture, mainly because what happened was when they moved into their house, they saw that the furniture that they had in there that they had when we lived in Patchogue didn't go with the room, so they decided, they'll give it to me, and they'll just get new furniture altogether. So it ended up working out for the better. But I still have that couch, I still have it in the living room area, but I figured, why not just put it in here? And then I can also rearrange these tables. I could. Okay, I kind of don't want to make a lot of noise here because it's late, and I'm pretty tired myself, but it's just, I really wanted to film a live video, and not saying this is going to look like this, but I just, I can customize it different ways. And once this curtain's here, I could probably even go like this, because once this curtain's set up, once it's up here, it'll feel more like a separate room, and not so much not so much like it's the same room. Like when I was telling my family about how these curtains are all set up, they're like, can't you stretch them out a little bit? And I tried doing that, and in a perfect world, I'd be able to stretch both these curtains out so they go the entire perimeter of the room. I just think, honestly, I underestimated what the actual length from one side to another is. If I had a tape measure, I could have gotten the distance, but I would have thought that from here to here was like 10 feet, but it's probably more like 15 feet. So I'm thinking once I get the third set in, I'm thinking that one's probably gonna almost barely make it as well. I mean, there'll be slight overlap, but it won't be to the point that it doesn't look presentable. So, I'm glad, I finally bought these curtains that I had in mind. It's just, funding this with personal money that goes towards everyday expenses like rent and groceries and car payment and all that stuff isn't the easiest thing to do. So I knew I was going to have this type of design when I set up the room divider. I just hadn't bought these curtains yet because I wasn't really at that part yet. I just wanted to start the podcast, get that going with, and it's just... But now that it's been on hiatus so long, I'm kind of going to have to rebuild the audience, which is why episode 10 of the podcast is going to be titled like Risen from the Dead, or I'm not sure what I'm gonna, or Return from the Dead. I mean, in other words, it's just because it's been so long since I filmed that it's almost like I'm starting fresh. Which, speaking of starting fresh, I want to come up with a new intro to the podcast. Yeah, and the music's going to be slightly a bit different, but I'm planning on using the music that I use for the intro for the outro too. But it's just it's honestly just a lot of work, and for me just doing it like just me, it's it also makes things not so easy either. But when my platform eventually gets discovered, more people see it, and it's very easy to promote yourself. All you gotta do is, because I'm already part of a community called Podcasters on Facebook. I joined the community for the software program that I use, so I'm part of that one. So all you gotta do is just tell people, hey, I produced this with this software. People look at it, and they'll either think it's pretty cool, or maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll give me some ideas. Maybe they'll give me the tools that I need to be able to succeed, which I think would be awesome. I'm about to wrap up this live feed very soon. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put these tables back. I mean, chances are when I'm done, when I'm fully finished decorating this room, when I get all the cool stuff that I need, which I think fully getting to how I want it to look is going to be something that's done periodically, but it's not going to look like this forever. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to put this all together. I just have this like this for now, and it's just something I'll figure out along the way. So before I go, I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys some light in the dark action. You see that right there? That red light serves as serves as a light for when it's dark in here. So that's another thing I need to work on too, is getting some lighting, so this way there's I want to get some of those automated lighting, like when you walk in, lights go on for this part of the room. I want to get one for the bedroom as well. The only thing is it has to be something that I'm able to turn off, because when I'm going to sleep, I definitely don't want the light on, and I'm just going to look to see what they have in terms of that. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Damn, it's not letting me zoom in. Actually, now it's doing it. See right there? It's a little red nightlight thing. I saw it in Target and grabbed it, and around the time when I bought that, I also was looking for other things, and I was getting a bunch of gifts. I also saw that they had this star projector thing, which I think they still sell it, but they were all out of it because it was probably a hot gift, and I was thinking of having one to be able to as like decoration as part of the room where I film my. It's not letting me zoom out. Where I film my podcast in as well, like have like a little projector and have like little stars like going on right here. I actually had that idea, I think, before I started getting serious about wanting to film this podcast, so to speak. I think I already had that idea in mind prior to that. Don't really remember. That was last summer. Can't believe it's already been that long, but alright, I'm going to be wrapping up this. I'm going to be wrapping up this live feed. I'm sure many people who hadn't seen me do a live video in a while probably thought it was great to see me, and I'm going to try to get this on other platforms so that people can see it, like Instagram and YouTube and all the other platforms that I'm on. If I can't upload this live feed, then it's not the end of the world, and everyone watching it live or watching the live video that I created gets to see it. But I'm hoping I can at least upload it to Instagram as a video and possibly upload it to YouTube and other platforms as well, you know, to inform people that Talking Stock is coming back and it's going to be better than ever this time. I think I've been on live longer than I wanted to be, so I'm going to wrap this up right here, and I'll catch you guys later, and just make sure to tune in to Talking Stock with Ryan Collada once filming begins. Take care of yourselves. Good night.